Welcome back to a new video, and this occasion is the JT Mini. This is not a review, it's an in-depth guide about this device. This guide is organized into chapters. You can easily navigate to specific sections by using the description or the timeline of this video. If you like this, please like and subscribe. This channel is supported by viewers only. To support this channel, you can buy me a coffee through PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and Patreon. So the JT Mini, this synthesizer, features a 3-voice paraphonic architecture. It's not really a true polyphony. If I play 1, I get it, 2, and then 3. So we get 3 different voices. While it allows playing 3 keys at the same time, all the 3 voices will go through a single filter and a single envelope. In true polyphony, each voice will go to its own dedicated filter and own envelopes. On a true polyphonic type of synthesizer, each voice that you play will go to its own dedicated filter and amp envelope. So this is more like a paraphonic type of synthesizer that it's simulating or emulating true polyphony. Now this is normal. It's a very good way to make an inexpensive analog synthesizer sound almost like a polyphonic synth. And a lot of synthesizers do this. I guess the most famous everyone knows is the Microfreak. On the synthesizer, the oscillator section is going to be this one, the VCO. And if I play something, you can do a triangle, then you can do a saw, then you can do a pulse, and then you have the square. Notice that it sounds pretty much the same as the pulse. One thing that you need to know is that you cannot select different shapes for the 3 different voices that you get. Whenever you select a shape, all the 3 voices will play the same shape or use the same shape. Now then, right here at the left, you have the different ranges. You can do 32, which is super, super low. You can go up to 16, then 8, 4, 2, and then super high to 1. So think of this as your octave control. I'm going to put it on 8. At the left of the synthesizer, you have your different modes, and you can do poly, which, it means that you can play up to 3 keys at the same time. But then you can do unison, and I'm going to put this on saw, right? So we can do poly, but when you go to unison, you will take the 3 different voices that you get. You can stack the voices on top of each other, and then you're going to get this sound. Sounds a little bit phasey. And it's because when you're using unison, you can use the detune knob to detune the voices and get that super saw type of big sound. Now you can go really crazy. If I go all the way up, what is that? We get that detune sound. But yeah, you can do it. You can get that super saw. Now can you do it with the other ones? Of course you can. If I go maybe to square, I'm getting all those voices detuned. I'm going to go to our triangle, and we can do it with the triangle as well. Then at the top you have the ARP modes, and right here you cannot do much. If I go to ARP and I go to up, it's just going to be an up type of ARP. Then you can do down, then you can do up and down, and then you can do random. And of course the tempo will decide how fast you go. Now we're going to talk about the ARP in a couple of minutes. I'm going to select the pulse width right here, and if I play it, we get the pulse. Now the way we modulate or we change the width of the pulse is going to be with the PWM mod. If I play something and I move this control, we can see that we can alter the pulse width. Now the thing is that this one, it's controlled by the LFO. Right now the LFO rate is all the way down and the delay time is all the way down. But if I move this, the LFO is gonna modulate the width. How hard or how fast, how aggressive it can get, you go up on the PWM mod. And if I go down, it's gonna be a lot less. The thing is that usually on a synthesizer, you have both options. A way to modulate the pulse width modulation, the pulse width with an LFO, or you have a different control just to change the width of the pulse. On this one, you don't get it. But if you just want to change the width, go all the way down on the rate of the LFO, and then you can change the width manually. And the other way to do so, if you have an LFO, you can use the delay time. I'm gonna go up on the delay time and notice that I can do it as well. And at some point, of course, the delay time is gonna kick in, but if you're playing like this, you can do it. On the manual, it doesn't say that you can control the pulse width manually with the rate all the way down. It just doesn't say. But you know, you can hear it and we can see it as well. Then at the top you have the pitch mod, and this is going to be the pitch modulation. If I play and I go up, nothing happens because the LFO is super slow. And notice that on this occasion the rate is all the way down, but we can really hear the modulation. Not the same as the PWM mod. So if you go up on the rate, it's just going to go much faster. The LFO is super fast, so if you go all the way up on the rate, you will be getting some very cool sounds. One thing that you need to know when you use the pitch mod, or you know, any modulation that includes or uses the LFO, is that if you maybe play and hold, I'm gonna go down rate. If I play it and hold it, we get that motion. But if I tap, the LFO will restart or re-trigger every time we play a key. And there's no way on the configuration, or maybe when you connect it through USB, to make the LFO not re-trigger every time that we play a key. It's the way it works, and you have no extra options right here. The other thing is the detune. We discussed the detune already. We detune the voices, and this works great when we use unison. But if I go to poly and then maybe detune the voices, are we gonna get detuned? Yes, we get it. Alright, so you can detune when you use the different modes. This is a subtractive type of synthesizer, meaning that the oscillators will output sound and it will go through the filter. And when we go right here, I'm going to go to the cutoff, we cut the frequencies that we don't want, subtracting, you know, the frequencies that we don't want. Now the frequency, the VCF, the cutoff is a 4 poles type of filter. But if you go to the function that you have right here at the top, at the bottom, you see something that says VCF and slope. You can change the slope by holding the function and then tapping the slope. When this is on, it means that now you're using a 2-pole type of filter, which is a little bit less aggressive than the other one. So I'm going to change it back. There's that this one is a lot more aggressive, and this one, it's a 2-pole. It's just less aggressive. I'm going to go back to the default, which is the 4-pole cutoff. Then the other control is going to be the resonance, and this will create a bump right at the breakpoint. If you do too much of this one, you will make it scream, just like we can hear and see. But yeah, we can create a bump at the breakpoint, and of course we can move the cutoff, and we can get that, you know, iconic type of sound. Usually on a synthesizer, you can modulate the cutoff, especially when you play a key. Maybe if I go all the way down, notice that we get almost no sound. It's super dark. But when I play a key, I want this control to go up and do something like that. So for this, we use the envelope, and we use this envelope to get that modulation going. And then you have a different modulation, which is going to be the LFO. I will go maybe to 25%, I guess. If I play something again, it sounds super dark. I'm going to go up on the envelope, and I'm letting the cutoff know that I want to use this envelope to modulate this control. So now I need to use this, and depending on how aggressive this control is, the modulation will be more aggressive or less aggressive. If I go maybe short, we get that. Maybe if we want a pad sound, for example, we can do something like that. Maybe make it slower. And then the other source that you get is going to be the LFO. So I'm going to maybe put it right here. And if I go up on the LFO, it will use the LFO to modulate this control. And remember again, we can use the LFO rate all the way up and we get cool sounds. But maybe if I go down, we get that. We will talk about the LFO later. You can go really aggressive, or maybe do just a tiny little bit, and then again use the envelope mod just to get something else out of it. Okay, so the oscillators make sound. They will go through an LFO, so we can cut the frequencies that we don't want, and then it will go through the envelope. The envelope is in charge to control how the volume of the synthesizer goes out, and we do it with an A, D, and then S, and then R, ADSR. Also, we use the ADSR to modulate the cutoff. Now, the thing is that maybe I know that you're learning synthesis and this is your first synthesizer. So first I'm going to teach you how an ADSR works, and then we're going to create a couple of examples. ADSR stands for attack, decay, sustain, and release. The attack, the decay, and the release are time-based controls. The sustain is only a level. It's not based on time. I'm going to select a saw and I'm going to go all the way down on this for controls. If I play a key, you can see on the spectrum that we get a blip, a tiny little blip, and it's because all of this is closed. And like I said before, the envelope, the amp envelope, controls how the sound goes out of the synthesizer. If everything is closed, it means that it's super short. Now, the attack control is a time-based knob and decides how the sound goes up in amplitude. So if I go up on this control and I play a key, the sound will go up. It will take some time, and notice I'm still holding the key. I'm gonna play it again. Goes up, takes a little bit of time, and I'm still holding, and then the sound dies. So the attack decides how long it will take for the sound to go up to full amplitude, and then it will just die. Gonna do it again in 3, 2, 1. It's gonna take a little bit of time, and then die. Of course, if you go down with this control, it's gonna be super short because it's just less time. If I go all the way up, it's gonna take a long time to go up. And at some point, if I'm still holding, it's gonna die. And there it goes. I'm gonna put the attack around center, middle, or maybe 50%. So what if I want to decide how the sound dies? Right now it's just dying super quick. Well, that's gonna be the decay, how the sound will decay after it reaches full amplitude. If I go there and I play a key, sound will go up, and notice that it's going down very smoothly. If I do I give a short value, it's going to take less time. It's going to be a lot faster. And if I go up on this control, it's going to take just more time to go down. Now then, you have the sustain. And since the sound goes up and down, the sustain is going to decide when the sound will stop. Right now, the sustain is all the way down, which means that if I play a key, the sound will go up and die at some point. But if I'm still holding the key, I go up on the sustain, notice that the sustain level will decide when the sound is going to sustain if I'm holding a key. If the sustain is all the way up and I'm still holding a key, the decay is pretty much disabled. So maybe I can put it right there, and I'm pretty much saying when the sound goes up, it will enter the decay stage, and if I'm still holding the key, it's gonna stay around, maybe around there. Goes up, goes down, and I'm gonna go slower. Goes up, goes to the decay, and then it will sustain at some point. Now then, maybe I'm gonna go up. Then if I choose to release the key, the sound will die super quick. Right? So, well, that's going to be the release. What's going to happen when I release the keys? Right now it's all the way down. It means that when I release, it's just going to die super fast. But, we can go up on this control, just like the attack and the decay, and the sound will take a little while to die. So this is how an ADSR works, and it's fundamental because this is how you shape the sound. Let's say I want to just play some keys, well, maybe sustain all the way up and everything else down. It's gonna give me that, but maybe I want a little bit of release, so I can play the keys and let it ring. Maybe I want to, I don't know, just play some pads. Well, I can add a little bit of attack, and I want to play a chord. It will slowly go up, and maybe a little bit less sustain. And we have some nice keys. Maybe I want a little bit of bass. Well, sustain all the way down, no release, a little bit of decay. And we have a bass if we go to lower keys. It will go all the way up on the sustain, no release, no attack, and no decay. So using the envelope or learning how to use an envelope, it's really, really important so you can create your different sounds. Now, in terms of this synthesizer, the envelopes, you only have one single envelope. This envelope will control how the volume goes out, which is what we've been doing, but also it uses this envelope to modulate the cutoff. So if I play something, maybe I'm going to go up on this one. I can use the envelope to maybe go down on the cutoff, and I'm going to go up on the resonance. And now we are using this envelope to move the cutoff. Of course, nothing is going on because we need to do something right here. Maybe I want a little bit of attack. Notice that it will slowly go up. Maybe I can go provide a little bit more. Now, like I said before, we used one envelope to control how the sound goes out of the synthesizer and also how we modulate the cutoff. And this is very normal for old school type of synthesizers. On newer synthesizers, you usually get two different envelopes. One envelope to control the modulation and a completely different envelope to control how the amp works or how the sound goes out. On this one, you only get one. But if you connect this synthesizer, to the SynthDrive application, you get a few more options that you can use. And you have an option that says gate of VCA bypass. VCA, it's voltage control amplifier, is what controls the volume that goes out. And right here, it says that you can bypass. So when you do this, it means that the envelope will not control how the volume goes out. Notice I'm going to go all the way down, no modulation on the cutoff. And if I play a key, notice that this, still plays. And if I use the envelope just to do something, nothing happens. But we can still hear a sound. So what it's doing behind the scenes, it's something like this. And it means that when you play a key, the sound will go out. And when you release the key, the sound will stop. It's not really using this envelope anymore. So this configuration with the sustain all the way up, no release, no nothing, it's called a gate. We play, sound goes out, we release, the sound will die. So what's the point of doing all of this? Well, the point is that now the envelope, since it's not controlling the amp anymore, we can use it for the cutoff and we will not be altering how the sound goes out of the synthesizer because it's a gate. We only use this envelope as a modulation source. Still remember that now we are using a gate as a VCA. So if we use a little bit of release, that will not translate to the VCA. It will only translate to the modulation of the cutoff. Okay, so the LFO section, it's pretty simple. You only have a rate to control how fast it can go, and then you have the delay. So first, we need to play something and maybe choose the pitch mod, the PWM mod, or the LFO mod just to modulate something. And I guess I'm going to go to the VCF. If I play something, I want to modulate this with the LFO. If I go up, we can really hear and see the modulation. How fast it goes is the rate. We can go really slow, or we can go really fast. We know this. Now then, which waveform can we use? Well, you have it right here at the bottom. It says LFO, and we can use a sine wave, a saw, a square, and then random. And the way to change the shape is by holding the function and then just tapping on the waveform that you want to use. I'm gonna go to square. We have that on-off type of sound. And then you get the sample and hold or random. Maybe using this a little bit faster, just nicer. Of course, we are doing LFO mod, but we can do pitch mod if we wanted to, and then PWM. And for this, we need to go to the pulse width. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to function and then use the sine wave for now. I'm gonna do a little bit of modulation on the cutoff, and I'm gonna go slower. So as soon as I play a key, the modulation will start. Even if I go maybe to the pitch mod and I do a little bit more, we get that pitch modulation. Fine. So this is why you have the delay time. As soon as I play, the LFO kicks in. But maybe I want to delay the LFO just a tiny little bit. If I play a key now, notice that I'm not getting the LFO modulation. But if I press and hold, at some point it will begin. And this is because we are delaying the LFO. And the LFO will restart every time that we play a key. So it's taking a little bit of time to kick in. So you can go really up on this one. It's pretty long. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, more than just 7, almost 10 seconds. Also, notice that the LFO, it's the delay time, it's not an on and off type of deal. It's going to smoothly go in. And okay, so let's talk about the sequencer. I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna press the play. As soon as you do so, you can hear the metronome right at the back. If you want to disable or enable the metronome, hold the function, and then you have the metronome option. You can just toggle it off or just toggle in. At the very top, you have the tempo control. So if you want for this to go faster, go up on tempo, all the way up, and then you can go super slow. You can store up to 10 different sequences, and this is why you see right here at the bottom M1, M2, 3, all the way up to 10. To select one of the sequences, you need to go to memory right, just press it and hold it. Notice that if I release, they go away. Just press and hold, and the first one is blinking. It's because the first sequences of the 10 sequences is selected. If I want to, I don't know, select the sequence number 9, I will go to 9, and if I play it, that's going to be the 9. I go again back to memory, press and hold. We can see that the 9 is just selected. On this device, the sequences can only be up to 16 steps long. This is why you get 16 different lights. You can make the sequence a little bit short. If I go to function and go to active, you get the active steps. So I can play the sequence and we can see that we get the 16 different steps. But if I go here, I can remove the steps, and now we have less steps, maybe just 4 steps. So what we are doing, we are deactivating the steps and making the sequence a lot shorter. Of course, we can activate other steps and we just make the sequence longer. Now, to exit here, just press the function and it will go back to kind of the main menu of the sequence. And if you want to go back, function and go again to the play active, and you get the steps. Now, if you deactivated the steps and you have something like this, or maybe let me just make it a little bit more obvious. Let's say that you only have 4 steps and you want to roll back. You can go to function, hold it, and right here it says active step. This one, what it will do, it will just blink when you tap it, and it will go back to having all the 16 different steps. I'm gonna go to function, go to play active, and we get the 16 steps back. So yeah, we could do something like this, and maybe we are performing, go function, reset, and then play back, and we have the 16 steps. To record a sequence while stopped, you can press record, and this one is blinking, and it means that it's awaiting for you to play a key. So as soon as you play a key, the sequence will begin and it will just, start recording. So you can just play at the top. And that's, pretty much it. Since you have 3 different voices, of course it will record up to 3 different voices. If you want to clear the sequence, you just need to go to Function, and then at the bottom it says Motion Sequence, and then Scale, and then Clear. So this is the one we want. You just want to clear all, and it will just clear the whole sequence. If you want to play the sequence, you can play the sequence, and then you can enable the rec and just record notes at the top, and it will just record notes. While playing, function and clear all the steps, and again we can just record, and it will remember, and again function, and then clear. At the bottom you see something that says scale. So this is talking about the scale of the sequencer. I'm going to record something, and we are going to get it. You can go to Function, and at the bottom you see the scale. If it's 1/1, it's just playing at the normal tempo. I can just make it half and just, split it and make the sequence slower. Notice that the tempo is not changing. You're just changing the division. I can go to quarter, half, and then 1/1. If you're happy with the sequence, you can save it to one of the 10 different slots that you have available. Let's say I like this sequence, I'm going to play it, and then I go to Function and then Memory Write. Once I do this, it will ask you where you want to save it. So let's say I want to put it on the first one. Once you do so, you can exit, and then if you play it, you get the sequence. We can maybe hold memory and go to a different sequence. If I play it, I get nothing. But if I go back to the first slot, notice that we get it. Cool. I'm going to do Function and then clear all. And if I play the sequence, we get nothing back. Now, if I do Function again, hold it and tap it, and I play the sequence, I'm getting the sequence back. So this is kind of an undo type of deal. So if you delete the sequence and then you regret it, you can instantly go to Function and then, clear and then get it back. In this case, it's gone. But if I do Function and then all, and then play it back, I get it. Of course, you need to remember that if you change the sequence or you do something else, the sequence will be cleared. You cannot get it back. At the bottom, on the M8, it says freestyle. By default, the sequence when you record it is quantized. So every note that you play will be right there in the pocket. Then Function and then freestyle on. It means that the sequence will be recorded, but it will not be quantized. That's pretty much it. So it depends on, on what you want to do. If you don't want to do quantization, Function and then turn this on. If you want for the sequence or the synth to quantize your sequence, just, turn it off. I'm going to do Function and then clear to clear the whole sequence. And I'm going to be just pressing a key, just like that. Make sure that the sustain is all the way up. And I'm just going to press rec. It's blinking. So as soon as I play a key, it's going to record a note to all the different steps. So what if I want to erase some of the steps? Now, you don't have a dedicated way to erase steps, but right here it says record and then it says erase. So when you're playing, you could do Function and then tap the erase, and it will delete the step where you play when you press the Function and then erase. So I'm gonna just do something like that, and we are deleting some of the steps on the sequence. I wish we get a better way to edit the sequences, but you don't get much here. Maybe on a future firmware update. Right, so cool. This is what we get. Okay, so what else can we do? I'm going to do Function and then clear to clear all the steps. If I play it back, I get nothing. Sustain all the way up. I'm going to press the record erase. As soon as I press, it will start recording, and it will record one single note on all the different steps. So we have a sustained note. The sustain is all the way up. So each step is not re-triggering the envelope. That's, what's going on behind the scenes. So you can go to Function, just press and hold, and then you have the step re-trigger. So every step will make, the envelope re-trigger. and we get 1 for each step. Still, you can go to function and deactivate this, and it will go back to what you had from before. Cool. Alright, so let's talk about motion sequence. Motion sequence means that you can record some of the movements of the main controls that you have on your panel. You cannot change the scale of the sequence, the oscillator mode, you cannot change the tempo, the resonance, and the different modes. But you can motion sequence pretty much everything else. Now, for this to work, you need to enable or have it on. So function, and then I'm going to go to motion sequence. I guess I have nothing, and I need to record something, so I will record just a sequence. And I get that. That's fine. So now, again, motion sequence is on, and the only thing that you need to do is just go to rec, and then move some of the knobs. I'm going to do so. Rec is on, and I'm going to move this. It will only last one single round, and then the rec will go off. But notice that it remembers the modulation. I'm going to do the same, just tap the record and, I don't know, move something else. And we can see that the detune is getting modulated. Why not the pitch mod? I'm going to go to rec and modulate. And we get it. Cool. Then I'm going to go to maybe the PW mod, so you can see that we can. I'm going to go to the rate, modulated, and we can get it. And the delay as well. Maybe I'm going to try the LFO mod and just showing you everything that we can modulate. The envelope mod, we can do it. And then, which is cool, you can modulate or change motion sequence, the attack, decay, sustain, and release. That's why you get the different lights. If I record and move, we can see that when we record something, they are just moving. So what if you don't like the motion sequence that you just created? Well, you can go to function, hold it, and then it says motion sequence and then clear. And it will just, delete the motion sequence. Now then you have something that says smooth. So when you record as a motion, sometimes it can be a little bit just too aggressive. Well, in that case, you can go to function, and when you do smooth, it will just make the motion sequence smoother or just less aggressive. I'm going to do function and then just clear and just record something new to the sequence. I'm going to go there and just do something like that. And notice that we get it. Maybe I'm going to modulate something else as well. And cool. So once you create a motion sequence, you can save it to the actual pattern. I'm going to go to function and then memory and write to save the sequence. I'm going to save it to the number 1. And if I play that sequence, we can see that we are saving it. If I change to a different scale, a different sequence, if I play it back, we get nothing. But if I go back and I play it again, we can see that it's remembering the motion sequence. Okay, just to finish, then we have the ARP, and you cannot do much with the ARP. You have up. If I play something, we get up. Then we have down. Then we have up and down. And then we have random. So that's it. That's what you can do. You can maybe play the sequence if you want to, but you cannot really do much with this. On some other synthesizers, you can maybe record sequence, a motion sequence to the different steps and still use the ARP. Here it works kind of funky, and it doesn't say in the manual that you can do it. So I much prefer to not show you this because it's something that you shouldn't be getting. I'm going to do rec and just play something and record something to the sequence. We can maybe go to rec and just record some sequence just to do that. And we have a sequence going on. But as soon as we go to the ARP, it's just going to turn off whatever we had on the sequence. Now you can still play the ARP if you want to, but the motion is just off and the sequence is pretty much off. If I go back to poly or unison, we get that sequence back. Okay, so just to finish, when the synth is off and you press the function, you press and hold, and then you turn it on, it will go into configuration mode. Right here, you can adjust some of the settings. I'm going to maybe put it on the screen. For example, the first one is going to be the auto power off. So if this one is off, it means that it will never just turn off. But if this is on, it means that after 2 hours, the synth will just turn off if you're not using it. Then the LED 2 and the number 3 are going to be about the clock. The number 3 is going to be about the tempo. So when this one is off, or actually on, it means that you can use from 56 to 200 BPM. And this is talking about the tempo, right? But when this one is off, you can go really wild from 10 BPMs, I guess, all the way up to 600 BPMs, right? So 10, 600, it's the LED off. And if it's on, it's 56 to 40. Now then it's the clock source. This one is going to be internal, then DIN, then it's going to be USB MIDI, and then external sync. And then 9, 10, 11, and 12 are going to be about the different values that you can use when you change the clock source or when you're syncing to an external source. Now still, you can change all of the settings from the companion app. Once you connect it through USB to your computer, you can go to the Get Started, and you have all the options pretty much here. And on top, you get a lot more options. Like, for example, right here, you have the tempo range that you can change. For example, you can change your key priority, and also you can decide what the modulation wheel does. By default is the VCO pitch mod. And it's this one, the pitch mod. But you can change it to, to do something else, maybe to modulate the cutoff or the detune or whatever else. Okay, so if you liked all of this, please like and subscribe. And this channel is supported by viewers only. If you want to say thanks, you can. Go to the links at the description and you have links for PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and Patreon.